I want to ask you, you mentioned that you tested a zero trust network recently.
Yeah.
Not many people I know have actually done an assessment. Was it a red team or was it a pen test on there?
It was a red team.
So yeah, you're the only one I know who's done a red team on a zero trust network. What is the experience? What is it like?
I think first thing I'm going to put it out is we gonna have a blog post out by end of this month, which is on zero trust. So that the aim is
Make
to
sure you
share
tune
that
in.
knowledge. Sorry.
Make sure you
Um,
guys tune in.
Yes, definitely. But the aim is, as you said, like when I started researching about zero trust, there's not enough information out there. There's very few blog. There are some. There's a few talks. There's a very few blog posts, but it's not by far enough for someone to just read and get gauge of it. And we made mistakes. We did we did something right, something wrong. So the blog post is going to talk about it. So that is, and we're also actually releasing a tool that helps a little bit. So that the both are coming. Hopefully by end of the month, if not, and at the latest some point in July, it will be out there. Um, Testing zero trust was a very unique experience. I think you had to think really out of the box, and it was not just thinking out of the box in terms of how do I get in the company, but it also was what is actually valuable to a customer, right? Like zero trust is there's no point of doing lateral movement and stuff like that, right? So once we even got on the laptop, we're like, what do we do from here? Like, where are we trying to get? Like, it was just a different. It was a lot of bouncing ideas. To be honest, the client we worked with was they're very security mature as a customer, and I don't mean like their internal security. Like behind that, we destroyed them in the first red team. But the client itself was very understanding, and we had loads of sensible conversation. And it actually took us a decent while to understand what brings value to them in terms of zero trust. What would they like to see being compromised and what is not compromised?
Yeah.
I personally think zero trust is a very interesting concept, and it's very hard to implement correctly, especially if you are existing company moving towards zero trust instead of building from scratch for a new
So
company.
that is what I was going to ask you, because it sounds like that client had like the same ecosystem and had built it from scratch, right?
Yep, yep. They
Whereas organizations who are moving to this model have got like, I don't know, AWS
hype.
is your, on-prem.
Yeah,
Now you're trying to mix all these technologies and say you're at zero trust, and you're authenticating different services. And I don't know, it seems like there's always that gap, isn't there, that someone's
yeah.
misconfigured some shit and that
It's
gonna get in.
it's really weird to be honest, man. I personally struggle a little bit to understand this hybrid zero trust but on-prem normal infrastructure. Like it's in my head, I can't comprehend how is this going to work and how is it making company more secure. I think having a hybrid is worse than having either or. That's just my very personal opinion. I may be wrong. I have not come across enough clients that have done hybrid, so my opinion is very based on one or two engagement at the moment. Even with zero trust, I think I find it like once you can fish a user, if you can do phishing properly, you are in trouble. I think like I as zero trust as a concept is amazing, but I just think it's from a security perspective, I just think it's broken because it's if you can do phishing, if you can do really mature phishing, it's game over at that point. You fish 10 different users from 10 different company, and the idea of zero trust is they should be able to access their email and websites and application from anywhere. They're not constrained and things like that. So if you can fish and bypass 2FA, it's game over essentially. um, so I kind of
and
struggled
and
on.
and the hope that it was implemented and deployed correctly, right?
Yeah, exactly, and that makes it even harder, right? Like, uh, we did definitely have some, and I'll give credit to one of the senior red teamer in the team, Wes Lerenshaw. Um, he found some of the, he found some amazing way to do some enumeration. Man, I'm like, how did he even think of that? Like,
We're waiting for this
absolutely.
blog post, Drew.
I'm waiting for his blog post, man. So it's one of those projects where we have done red, purple, red. So there was the third time when we did it. We actually struggled a lot because we covered a lot of things in purple, kind of thing. But it was a good experience. I don't say I'm no expert with zero trust. It's something I definitely, as a team, I think we're gonna look into expanding more and doing a little bit more research. I think it's quite an exciting topic. A lot of the companies are looking to move into it, so it's gonna, we're gonna start seeing it a little bit more frequently. Um, I At the moment, I don't understand how it makes life more secure. It does in some sense, but it also doesn't in some sense. Actually, I don't think it's like one solution to the current cybersecurity crisis.
It's
You
not,
know,
yeah, it's not a silver bullet.
no, exactly, and it's been perceived as a silver bullet, which is, a lot of
Yeah.
the CEO I speak with, I'm like, I try and stay in touch with my client after we have done the project. So I recently had a client who came to me and said, just so I just want to have a call and discuss something. And went on the call, and it's like, so my IT is recommending that we move with this like partial zero trust on-prem AD, and he's like, it's gonna make us more secure and better result with the red team next time around. Asking for like a couple mil investment to make this happen. And I was just like, I don't think that's the case. you know,
Yeah. What, you implement it, watch me come around and pop it again.
I mean, I'm like, I'll be impressed if they manage to do it. And there are companies who have managed to do it. I'm sure. It's just very very hard to achieve. Maybe 10 years from now, it might not be.
Yeah,
And
I think it's too early right now to
it's
say. And
quite a
like,
immature as a concept, for everyone. I think it's
yeah, and if you're building it from scratch, I know, like for example, Google, they have their whole
yeah,
ecosystem. They use that, and their whole ecosystem is Google. So like, if you have
yeah,
Google and you're using all that, then yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it should work. But if you're mix mashing all this technology and you got legacy stacks and
yeah,
whatever it may be,
exactly.
then you're like, hey, who's going to deploy it correctly? Are they going to take the liability that it was
Yeah, I
securely
know.
done? Are they leaving
Yeah,
creds everywhere as well?
yeah, 100%, man. It is definitely interesting times. I am gonna wait to see once I come across a zero trust where we just like struggle a lot. Um, but at the moment, I'm very double minded about it. There are things that I think it does great. There are things that it fails. If a client asks me which one it should be, I would say no zero trust as of now. It might change in future, because my opinion is based on two projects really, if I have to be honest.
Sure.
Um, but we'll see how it comes along. Maybe we'll have a
Invest your
podcast
budget
part
into
two.
Purple Team.
I mean, well, you never know. We'll have one of these talk again in a year's time, and maybe I'll have changed my mind. But we'll see how that goes.